How you boys doing?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
I think that's in very bad taste.
What's going on? Back Stampede, about to do the Breakfast Hour videos. I don't got that much to talk about. I'm about to answer some questions. Then I'm going to talk about Witch Hunter, the manga, or the manhwa a bit. Then I'm going to talk about some books I bought. Talk about a tablet I bought. Then I'm going to talk about just general shit that's going on in my life. And then we're going to end it right there. So, here we go. Alright, the questions were by the Dashin production, and the first question that he asked was, what was my first anime? Of course the cliche stuff like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dragon Ball Z, but the first one that I got into that was like the one that started it all for me was Trigun, and then like after that it was Full Metal Alchemist. So Trigun started it, and Full Metal Alchemist sealed the deal for me. Second question: name 3 animes that are unique than others, in my opinion. 3 animes that are unique. You just said unique now, not if they're good, right? But just unique. Okay. Future Diaries, for what it was worth, I thought was unique because it was literally play this game with the knowledge that you might know some like little things about certain events in the future, and you can slightly change them. And one, you have to survive to be the king of this realm, or the god of this realm. So Future Diary was unique. Whether it was good is up to your own taste, but it was certainly unique. What else? For a shonen, Death Note was unique because it wasn't the traditional shonen, and Light wasn't the traditional shonen character. He's the protagonist, but he's a murderer for the most part. He kills people with a notebook, and the main antagonist was a detective who solved crimes. So that was unique because it was kind of reversed in that sense. It was reversed. Another unique one. Unique anime. Name 3. I named 2. Now I have to name the 3rd one. This anime that I just recently watched, it's only episode 1, but what was it called again? It was called M3 Sono Kuroki Hagane. That was unique as shit, honestly. It was so unique, I don't even know what the hell happened, and I barely even know what was going on in that episode, so that's how unique that series is. Third question is, name a pretty generic anime that is somehow drawn to you. A generic anime that I liked? Generic. Defrag. Defrag was pretty generic. It was a standard comedy, a high school comedy, but I really did enjoy Defrag. I thought Defrag was funny as shit. I thought that the characters were likable. I thought that Kazuma, his character was just funny as shit because he's thrown in the middle of all this wacky stuff, and he's remaining the straight man out of the whole thing. So that was a pretty generic anime that ended up being way better than I thought it was. And this is the funniest question to me ever. What do you think about the fairy tale anime? Dudes, you don't hate me for this shit, but I do not fuck with fairy tale at all. You know what's funny? I was going to be professional right there, but I threw it out the window. I don't fuck with that series at all. Like, at all. I used to. I fucked up because I watched it in English first. Don't ever do that. Especially when it's like a real popular, and I use that term loosely with this series. But don't watch it in English first. You get the wrong impression, which I did. But I went back and watched it in Japanese, and I don't like it, man. I think it's too childish, if it's gonna be a childish anime or whatever, like at least have the romance and the comedy very, very high, and the fights can be kind of like mid-level. You know what I'm saying? Like with Tenchi Muyo, is kind of a comedy romance but with little action. And the action is just enough to where you're not like annoyed with the characters and you kind of fuck with their powers. And you know, a lot of fan fiction can be written about Tenchi Muyo. I don't even really see how a fan fiction can be written about Fairy Tail. I don't like Fairy Tail at all. You know? And he said that he loved it more than Naruto, but I don't like Fairy Tail at all. I haven't even watched the Naruto anime in like 2 years, but I can honestly say that if it was between me choosing to watch the Naruto series and watching the new Fairy Tail series, I would watch the first Naruto series. I don't like Fairy Tail at all. I don't even understand the popularity behind it. I really don't. Like, when I read it, I'm just like, what is everybody reading? And when I watch it, I'm like, what is everybody watching? The fights aren't even really that good because you know in the end Fairy Tail is going to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know they're going to win. Even with Naruto, like, I know that in the end it's going to be a happy thing. You know what I'm saying? But no one honestly could have really saw or predicted that Naruto at this moment in time was gonna save Guy, because when you release the fucking 8th gates, the gates or whatever, it's like, that's it. You release the final one, you die. So no one thought that he was gonna be, you know, saved and all that type of shit, but at least he was willing to die. And Fairy Tail is like, the death thing is not even a word because none of those main characters are gonna die. None of the secondary characters are even really gonna die. It's just gonna be like, you know, like rainbows and unicorns in that series. And I don't know why people like it. I really don't. I have no idea the popularity and fandom behind this series. I can't fathom. All right, now let's talk about this. Let's talk about Witch Hunter, or Witch Buster as they call it in English. That pisses me off. But honestly, I don't know who I would have to write to get this done, but I hope enough people read this, because let's write to somebody to get this animated. I really think that this should be animated. I really do. Like, this is volume 8 or whatever, because I think like volume 9 and 10 are out now or whatever, and I was like, okay, let me just thumb through it a bit, you know, at Barnes & Noble, and I thumbed through it, and I was just like, fuck, man, like the fight scenes and the action sequence in this shit is just like if this was animated, this would be the shit. So I was just like, man, like, I wonder who I have to write to get this in production. You know, I really do want this to be an anime. I know that the Korean mangas don't usually get turned into anime. It's kind of rare, but I think Freezing is one. That's the only one I know, really. It might be some other Korean mangas, but Freezing is the only one I know, and Freezing isn't even that good. So, it's okay, but compared to this, Freezing don't got shit on this. So, I really think that Witch Hunter should be animated, man. And, especially like just to see Ryuan, like just to see that character animated, because I'm like, the last thing I read online, one of the scans, was him and Tasha training with one another, and they were, I think East was training them, and they were in this mansion, and Ryuan was like, I'm gonna something about their minds, like their minds could make anything in this realm, and even like the revived witch came back, and I was just like, holy shit, like, you know, just to see that stuff animated, man. Like, I remember the first time when I was reading the manga and I saw the Song of Marie, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, the look on Tasha's face when he did that move, I was like, yeah, man, like, animated, this would be the shit. You know, like, this would literally be the shit, and it's enough comedy and action in this to where, like, if, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna say this again. If Fairy Tail can get a second anime, at least give this a chance to get one. You gave Fairy Tail 2 chances to get it. At least let this get one. Hunter x Hunter had 2 fucking animes. At least let this get one. Let this get one. You know what I'm saying? Let it get one. I feel like Witch Hunter should just be animated. I mean, especially when I look at the shit that has been animated so far, I'm like, really? not to say that these are bad shows, but think about Heaven's Lost Property. That has an anime first season, anime second season, movie, and another movie coming out this month, I think. But Witch Hunter has nothing. And that's like, what the fuck? I mean, like, oh man, like, just think about any series that, like, you were like, why does it have an anime? It's not my fault that I'm not popular. And it was funny as shit. But is the manga even that popular? You know, it's not even that. I mean, fuck that. Fucking High School DxD, first and second series, it just recently became a manga. It's a light novel series. I think Toradora is a light novel series. Golden Time, light novel series. Now, I'm not saying that these are bad shows. They're not. These are great shows, except Fairy Tail. But if they are allowed to get animes, and these like plots are based on literally nothing sometimes, this one has, and I know I might even be blasphemous for saying this, but I feel like Witch Hunter has a plot that is as intricate and thick as One Piece. It's only 15 volumes of this, I think, but its plot line is as thick as One Piece's. Now, it will never go on as long as One Piece, because the world of Witch Hunter isn't as broad as One Piece. There are different kingdoms and shit like that, you know, different areas, the south, the north, all that type of shit, but it's not as broad and wide as One Piece's land. But I feel like its plot and its character development, even its spotlight on characters, is very, very, very close. The only thing right now I could ever consider as close to One Piece. I mean, because like in One Piece, there can be a character like, you know what, there can be like a whole fucking chapter, a whole arc dedicated to a character like Gadatsu. You know what I'm saying? Like Gadatsu, the dumbest fucking guy. Funny as shit though, but the dumbest fucking guy in the series. There can be like a whole arc leading up to like introducing him, and that's how Witch Hunter is. Like Witch Hunter, they're like the first arc was pretty much just to introduce the character introduce the Witch Hunter organization, but that led up, like so many subtle hints, that led up to introducing Ryuin. And just kind of like, oh, okay, like even East was put in the background when his character was introduced. Because the whole time it's just like, yeah, you were Eda's apprentice, you were her student, that's it. You were the first person she took underneath her wing. And it turned out to not be true. She had a student before Tasha. So it's just like, if this can be taken to that, you know what I'm saying, type of extreme, give it an anime. That's all I'm asking, please. I don't know who I gotta talk to, but please, anime Witch Hunter. I bought Agatha Christie book, Posthumous Fate. It was at a used bookstore for, if you can see that, come on, focus. Fuck it, it was for $1. $1. Yeah, Agatha Christie, Posthumous Fate. I'm a huge fan of Agatha Christie. You know what's funny though? I felt bad as shit because the first story I read was And Then There Were None. You know what I'm saying? I read that. I'm just like, yeah, this story good as fuck, man. I wonder what made her write that. So I go to look the story up, and the first thing that catches my eye was one of its original names. I was like, holy shit. BBM Black. I don't like that title. Oh man, the original story though. Can I say this? I usually don't even drop that word on the fucking videos like at all, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just, you know, at home talk. But the original, the original story was called 10 Little Niggers. I was like, holy shit. I did not know that. Like, I had no idea. Because I think it's based on a nursery rhyme, and it was like 10 little Indians, and it was like 10 little niggers, and then it just ended up being And Then There Were None. And so I was like, oh, better choice title right there, And Then There Were None. I would go with that one. And I also bought Paradise Lost by John Milton. I've read that several times, but I wanted to own it. And I bought Dante's Inferno, well, The Divine Comedy, I'm sorry. I read that before too, but I just wanted to own it because I read them online. And I wanted to own them. I've read them in school books, and I wanted to own them. And I also bought the entire completed works of Edgar Allan Poe. I'm a huge fan of Edgar Allan Poe. You know what's funny though? I'm a huge fan of Edgar Allan Poe, but then I watched that series, the Kevin Bacon series, The Following, and it made me feel so fucked up because I was like, yeah, man, I love that story. I fucking love the Telltale Heart and the Black Cat. And then in the series, Kevin Bacon's like, yeah, Joe is using the Telltale Heart and the Black Cat as symbolism for his murders. He's removing the victim's eyes. I'm like, motherfuck. Like, that's two of my favorite fucking stories. Let me stop lying. I'm a huge fan of Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know why he's not regarded, in the same esteem as Shakespeare and all that type of stuff, man. But I'm a huge fan of Poe. Sorry about the yawn, man. I've been up since like 4 o'clock this morning. It's 4:01 now. But my favorite Poe story, though, my favorite story, I like The Descent to the Maelstrom. I like that story. I like The Pit and the Pendulum. I thought that was good. I really did think that shit was good. The Cask of Amontillado. But yeah, the Pit and the Pendulum was probably like one of my favorite ones, though. That shit was awesome. That shit was cool as shit. And I like a bunch of his poems, Lenore, Annabelle, I forgot the rest of it. Fuck. Ironically enough, I never did care that much for The Raven. I thought it was interesting, but I never cared that much for the poem itself. So there's that. I also bought, where is it? Shakespeare. Come on, buddy. Hamlet. And I also bought The Tempest. It's somewhere down here. I can't fucking find it, bro. I bought Hamlet. I bought The Tempest. I went to go see Hamlet in a play, and the actors was such shit. I was just kind of like, I gotta read this shit and get my own impression of it, because but the actors can't really act. You kind of lose interest in the show itself. And also Hamlet is where they got the idea for The Lion King. So I'm a big fan of The Lion King. I'm a product of the '90s, so. Well, I'm not a product. I'm a baby of the '90s. I was born in '89, so. I also recently dug this up in my mother's house. Got too much shit right here. Oh, Jesus. Magic. This is like my first starter pack. I didn't even throw none of the cards away. I still got all the cards. I feel like a dork though, because I totally spaced on the fact that this shit wasn't even in here. And I also found this in my mom's house. I haven't read this shit in a while. 1984. 1984. With George Orwell on the back. Now this guy has a pure Nazi face. I'm not even gonna lie. He looks like a Nazi. Looks like a Nazi. But that's what I did. I bought some books and stuff, I like to read. So if you guys have any book recommendations that you want to just get out, you can go ahead and tell me. Because I'm not reading anything right now. Got too much work and shit to do. So if you got anything you want to recommend, you go ahead and you do that. I will listen to anything. So pretty much, man, I haven't been doing shit. I've been working, been going to school later during the day. I ain't been doing shit. I haven't been doing nothing. I just been watching anime and reading manga, and that's it. So, I haven't been doing shit. I have not been doing a damn thing. Trying to talk to women, type of stuff like that. I haven't done shit. So that's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Also, man, like if you guys want to, you can ask me some questions in any video. Any video that I posted up, you can just ask me any question that you want. I would love to answer your questions, and again, they don't have to particularly pertain to anime or manga. It can be about anything. Just let me know. Drop a comment below. That's pretty much it for me, man. I don't really got shit else to talk about. I just really wanted to answer those questions and talk about Witch Hunter for the most part. Yeah, Master Stampede.